Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving into the absolutely fascinating, totally countercultural wisdom of a woman who has literally outlived all of her doctors. And get this, she did it by eating the exact things they told her to avoid. This isn't your typical health advice, full of expensive supplements or trendy diets. Nope, this is a masterclass in longevity straight from the source. Let's kick things off with this brilliant quote from Hattie Mae. "Every doctor who ever told me to watch my cholesterol is dead and gone." I mean, it's blunt, it's hilarious, and it perfectly sets the stage for our deep dive today. She's calling out 50 years of modern diet culture, not with scientific studies, though, hey, we'll get to those, but with her own lived experience. When doctors with fancy degrees and new pills told her what to eat, she simply ignored them and stuck to the foods God gave us straight from the earth.
Because here is the absolutely crucial point. Hattie is an astonishing 108 years old. Just let that number sink in for a second. 108. The good Lord has blessed her with over a century on this earth, and she credits her incredible vitality to 7 specific earthly foods. We're not talking magic powders or things sold in a box on late-night TV. We're talking real food.
When you put her life into perspective, it's just mind-blowing. Born way back in 1918, she survived 2 world wars, she watched a man walk on the moon in 1969, and now, heading toward 2026, she's dealing with phones that literally talk back to you. Over all that time, she's seen a whole lot of foolishness, especially when it comes to what people put in their bodies. She just completely tuned out the television commercials and stuck to the wisdom passed down from her great-grandmother.
That brings us to Section 1, the controversial classics, defying the doctors. These are the staples that make modern dietitians absolutely clutch their pearls. There's this perfect contrast here between modern fear-mongering and Hattie's truth. So the modern myth tells us that coffee causes heart attacks and makes you nervous. But Hattie, she's had a strong cup of black coffee every single morning since she was 16. Her truth is that what really gives you a heart attack is worrying about every little thing. She knows black coffee is packed with antioxidants. It's basically a message to your brain to wake up and get to work. The only catch here? She insists you drink it black, none of that sugary chemical creamer, which she straight up calls the devil's work.
Next up on her controversial list, eggs. And we're not talking egg whites here, but the whole egg, fried in bacon grease no less. For 50 years, we've been fed this myth that yolks will clog your heart, which scared a whole generation away from what Hattie calls the most perfect food ever made. She completely dismisses all that cholesterol fear. In fact, she eats 2 whole eggs every single morning and proudly notes her heart is ticking just fine, thank you very much. To her, the yolk is where the real power is.
And you know what? It turns out her folksy wisdom aligns perfectly with modern nutritional science. Hattie intuitively knows exactly what she's talking about. That yolk contains choline and lutein. These are absolutely vital nutrients that act as the actual power source for your brain and your eyes. It's exactly as she beautifully puts it, a perfect little package of life. She takes a similarly rebellious stance on our next food, red meat. Good, grass-fed red meat. The modern myth practically screams that red meat will kill you, trying to push you toward chicken breast or tofu instead. But Hattie's truth is pretty profound. She looks at a cow as a biological machine that turns grass and sunshine into pure strength. She argues that feeling weak and tired isn't necessarily from getting old. It's from lacking the iron, B12, and carnitine that your muscles and blood desperately need. That's power coming directly from the earth.
Moving right along to Section 2, Nature's Perfect Packages, the universally accepted medicines. Let's transition from the controversial stuff to the universally accepted foods, things Hattie beautifully refers to as God's candy and rich man's medicine. First up in this group are berries. Any kind you can find. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. She eats a handful every single day. Why? Well, they're sweet, sure, but they don't have that fast nervous sugar that rots you from the inside. As her daddy used to say, the medicine is in the color. And modern science completely backs her up here. We now know that color comes from polyphenols. These are powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that protect the fruit out in nature, and when you eat them, they keep inflammation down and protect your body from the inside out.
Her 5th food is fatty fish. We're talking salmon, mackerel, and especially oily canned sardines. Now, her husband used to call a can of sardines a poor man's lunch. But Hattie, she views it entirely differently. To her, it is quite literally a rich man's medicine.
When it comes to fish, her priorities are crystal clear. Doctors will tell you to worry about mercury levels, right?
while Hattie Mae tells you to worry about having a brain that can't remember your own children's names. She knows your brain is made of fat, and it desperately needs clean fat to work right. She wants that EPA and DHA, the oil that keeps the engine of your mind from rusting, keeps your thoughts clear, and, as she puts it, keeps the sadness from creeping in. She will gladly take her chances with the fish over a resting brain any day of the week.
Building on that bodily engine, her sixth longevity food is all about keeping what she calls the gut garden alive. Because if your gut only has weeds, you are going to get sick. So she uses fertilizers to put the good stuff back in, which means fermented foods, things like sauerkraut, pickles, and buttermilk. These are foods that are literally alive, just packed with good bacteria that keep your digestion right. Her golden rule: a happy gut equals a happy life.
And that brings us to Section 3, the magic dirt, Hattie's ultimate secret weapon.
Okay, so we've covered 6 foundational foods, but her 7th food is her absolute favorite: raw cacao. Now, pay attention because she is very specific here. Not chocolate, definitely not that sugary junk you grab at the checkout counter. She is talking about the real, bitter, dark powder. She takes 1 spoonful of it every single morning in her coffee. How does she describe it? She says it tastes like dirt and magic. And once again, science totally backs up her daily habit. The secret here is PQQ, pyrroloquinoline. It's a naturally occurring compound found in raw cacao that literally tells your body to go make new mitochondria. It acts just like cellular spark plugs. So even at 108 years old, this raw cacao wakes up her brain and gives her a little fire. It really is her best-kept secret. Finally, let's look at Section 4, fuel versus the engine, the real secret to 108 years.
We've got the 7 foods that built her: coffee, berries, fatty fish, eggs, red meat, fermented foods, and raw cacao. But right here, we really have to pause and ask ourselves, is food the actual secret? Is it truly just these 7 earthly foods that sustained her for over a century? Or is there a much bigger piece of the puzzle that we're entirely missing in our modern obsession with diets? Her conclusion is so profound. She says, "The food is the fuel, but the engine is your spirit." Hattie warns that you can eat all the grass-fed red meat and perfect foods in the world, but if your heart is full of bitterness, you're still going to get sick. You have to have a reason to get up in the morning, you need people to love, and you need a little faith. To keep that engine running smoothly, Hattie follows this beautifully simple checklist. Forgive people. Just let go of the bitterness. Make sure to laugh, even when things hurt. Take the time to just sit on the porch and watch the sun go down, and thank the good Lord for another day. I mean, it really proves that true longevity is just as much about community, forgiveness, and gratitude as it is about polyphenols, B12, and antioxidants. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a page directly out of Hattie's 108-year-old book and ask yourself, what is fueling your engine today? Are you just obsessing over feeding your body with the perfect diet, or are you actually taking the time to tend to your spirit? Go ahead, eat your eggs, drink your black coffee, but remember to forgive, remember to laugh, and take a moment to watch the sunset. Do that, and who knows, like Hattie Mae, you just might stick around for a while.